Hello. Can anyone speak out? Is it audible?
Yes, sir, it's audible.
Yeah, fine, great. So,
Yes, sir, can hear you.
yeah, fine. So, as we know, so if I want to create a new file, so right click on the folder what we previously created and click on new and then select the Python file and whatever the name you can convenient you can give it. So, I'm just taking the sum as a Python file name. Okay. So, here I want to show you some of the foundation topics like even what is the need of typecasting when we are reading the input from the keyboard. So, as I mentioned already, so let's take, I'm taking value 1 as an input. So input of, okay, enter value. So now similarly, I just want to take the another value. So value 2 is equal to input of enter value 2. And now I want to add them. So for that, I'm taking a variable called s. So where I'm adding this both the values into a single variable. So like value 1 plus value 2, and now I'm using print, and within double quotes I'm putting the text as equal and concatenating the value called s. But as I already told you, so if something which we are reading directly from the keyboard and if you run it, it will concatenate the values instead of doing the summation of the values. So to do that, we require to do the what we can say the typecasting. Okay, see if we am taking here value 1 are given as a 10 and value 2 are given as a 20. So now the sum is expected is 30, but the expected is 10 comma 20k. Why? Because by default whatever the data you are reading from the keyboard, that will treat it as a what you call string. So to typecast into numbers, so we have to use int of. So int of is a function to typecast the text into number format. Okay, so it not means that if you type one to convert to one number, it's not like that. The value will be one only, but to convert into format, only format conversion I'm speaking. Okay, so for example, 10, I'm giving 20, now you are getting 30. Okay. But in this case, if you give, let's take example, I'm giving 20 here, and as part of second value, I'm giving one, assume that. So now you are getting an error, that is number format exception, because when you are giving the text, so text cannot be converted into int. So that's why see the line is also highlighted here. The second value we are unable to converting into integer because it is not the value, it is a text. So like that, whenever you want to convert the numbers which is in the string format, not in the string notation format, so that you can convert into respective number format. And similarly, we have even like I'm just telling like float also we have to convert into float, and similarly we have str to convert reverse way. I mean that number to string if you want to convert, so there we can use the string option. So these are the different approaches or different typecasting functions in Python to convert one value to another value. Okay. So I hope you understand by this. So any doubt as of now? So if you have any doubt, please ask me and I will revise. Otherwise, I will go to the second example.
Understood, sir.
Great. So I'm taking the next example. I want to find the area of the circle. Okay. So let's take, I'm taking an example circle. So here, as you know, area of the circle, if you want to find, we require two things. One is constant value, pi value. Another one, radius of the circle we require. So that I'm trying to finding here. So radius equal to, because radius might be points, so I'm taking float and float of input. That's why I'm writing like this means instead of making the two lines, we can put it into the single line also. So likewise, I'm writing. So enter radius. Okay. And now as we know, there is a pi we should implement in the formula of the area pi r square. So for that I'm writing pi, okay, is equal to, so as we know the value is 3.14. Okay. So now the area formula is pi r square, right? So that we can write area is equal to pi into, okay, bracket open, r double star 2, because r square, right? So r is this single star is indicating multiplication, but whereas double star is indicating power. So radius square we want, so that's why we written radius double star 2. So it means pi r square we get. And finally now I'm printing this data. So print area is equal to comma, let's take area. So this is how we will concatenate the string with numbers. Okay, so now we can try to execute this program again. So simply right click on the program and run it on. Yeah, see showing enter radius. So let's take, I'm giving 7.5. So this is the value what the expectation of the area. So 176.625. So similarly, if you want to try with other values, yes, you can try. Even as part of float, you can give the integer also. So that is the one advantage. If you take the int, it only takes the numbers, it doesn't take the decimals. But if you take the float, it accepts both. You can enter the numbers and as well as decimals also. You can enter as part of the input. So this is how we will use the float, I mean the decimal values in the Python program. So any doubts? If not,
Hello. Sir, hello.
hello?
Sir, one doubt. You said
Uh,
pi is equal to 3.14, right? So
can
instead
you,
of that,
Jan,
hello.
Jansi, right?
Yes,
Can
Johnson.
you speak up loudly? I'm not getting your voice.
Okay, can you hear me now, sir?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So instead of pi is equal to 3.14, instead of that, why can't we take pi by 4, pi by 2 in the terms of fraction, I'm saying.
Can you
Pi
repeat?
is equal to. Uh, in terms of pi value, can we take in fraction? Fraction
Can
is
can
fraction
you
wise,
take
like
it like 3 by 4 you are telling?
yeah. I mean, pi we have a symbol, right? Pi by
No, no,
4.
we can't take it. I understood, understood. So pi means the
Uh,
pi symbol, yeah. Because as you
uh,
mentioned, symbols cannot be acceptable in the naming conventions.
okay. Got
Okay,
it.
so that's why we are writing
Okay,
in,
sir.
instead of pi symbol, we written pi pi.
Okay, understood, sir. Understood, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, great. So similarly, I'm going to be creating a new file where I want to find the, let's take average of, maybe any average of two numbers I'm taking. Okay, so average. So here again I'm taking, let's take n1 is equal to, so here you can, as I mentioned, so both variations you can take it, float of, sorry, float of input of enter value n2 equal to float of input of enter value. Now I want to do the average, right? So now abc equal to, so I'm making n1 plus n2 whole by 2, sorry, whole by 2, and now I'm printing print average is equal to, here I'm writing avg. So this is the way how we will do the average, Nana. So here single by, if you are using, it will give the float division value, that means float values. But if in the same place, if you are using the double slash double by, so it will give the integer value, like what we can say that integer division. So likewise, whether you want float division or integer division, so based on your requirement, you can choose any of that. So that is what the advantage of that. Okay. So is it the point clear? For example, see here, if I'm running here,
Oh, sir, once can you repeat? Didn't understand.
yes, Sinana. In this program, I used the single double by, right, by division. So in this case, if I entered C 5 and 2. So 5 plus 2 7, 7 by 2, what is the value? 3.5, right? Yeah, we are getting 3.5. Now I'm entering the same example. See here, I'm entering 4 and 2. So 4 plus 2, how much? 6, 6 by 2, how much? 3, right? But though it will give you 3.0, it won't show you 3 because you written the single slash. Single slash always will give you the float values, means point values. It won't give you the numbers. But the
Okay,
same
okay.
example, if I'm using by double by, I mean to say double slash like that. So same example, see I'm giving, so now I'm giving 4 and 2. Now you are expecting only 3, see that. And similarly, now the difference will come, see, 5, 2 as I mentioned, right? So initially how much you are getting? 3.5, right? But now in this case also you are getting 3 only. You are not getting 3.5. That is what I'm trying to explain.
Okay.
Okay, so means if you are using double by, always it will return 0.0. It won't will give you the point some value. So
Right.
likewise, you have a difference between single slash and double slash. And as
So
similarly, we have a difference
single
between
slash also
single
we're
star and
getting
double
same
star.
value.
Yeah, just tell me.
So single slash also we're getting the same value, right?
No,
3.0 only.
no. So 3.5 you are getting. See that. So if I'm giving the same inputs 5 by 2, right? The inputs are, just a second. Yeah, see that? So same, but I'm giving 5 to only, but single slash, right? See 3.5 you are getting. See that?
Okay, okay. So it is round off to integer digit 3.0 you'll get.
Yes.
You'll not get 3.5.
Yeah.
So 3.2, sorry,
Huh?
3.5, how's the 5 by 6, 7, 7 by 2?
Yeah, 7 by
3.5,
2,
right?
3.5, right? The 3.5 means decimal, right? 0.5 is coming. But when you're using double
Uh-huh.
by, that 0.5 won't come, 0.0 will come, rounded value.
But anyhow, we're getting decimal point also.
Yeah, that is sure because we are using float, right? So we are using float means
Okay.
always it will give you the float only.
If you're using int there, then you'll not
Then we
get
have to
points.
typecast. So if it is int means we have to typecast if you want integer. So here I'm giving 5 to same 3.5 and similarly I'm giving 4, sorry, yeah, first of all 4 2, so it will give you, now you see 3.0. Okay, now I'm giving double slash, run it. So 5 2, it will give you 3, see that now you're getting 3, not the 3.0. Got it?
Okay, double slash.
Yeah,
Perfect. Got it, sir.
yeah. So because of data type we mentioned float, that's why it will give you always 0.0. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
So let's take, we will take another example. Yeah, sum of integers, I can take another example. So let's say sum of the integers means if I'm giving n 5 as an input, the expected output will be 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5. But here I'm not using any loops. So there is a formula like n into n plus 1 by 2 that I'm using. So to get that answer. So first of all, I'm reading the value of n. So int of input of enter value. And now I'm calculating the sum equal to, first I'm writing n into n plus 1, okay, to the whole I'm doing by 2, sorry, n into n plus 1 by 2, correct one, yeah. and finally we are printing that value. Okay, so print sum, and now so if I'm using like 5, so you're getting the value called 15. So 5 plus 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1, it is 15 only. So likewise, you will get the sum of the integers by using. So what is my ultimate goal is you can use all the mathematical operators like plus, minus, into, by, star, double star as per your requirement in any program. So I hope you understand clearly the each operator meaning. Is it clear, right?
Yes, sir. Clear.
Yeah. So the next to the continuation next topic is statements, Nana. So basically statements means the line of executions or the line of code what we are generally writing. Okay. So in each program,
So in
in even previous program also we written some sort of lines like example a equal to int of input of something or print sum. So that is also called a statement only. But that statements whatever just before we written in the as part of our basic programs, we call them are linear statements, means they won't have any condition. So straight away whatever the code we are writing, it will execute and it will show some output in the monitor. So such kind of statements we call linear statements. But if something, if you want to run based on the condition, example, if condition is true, you want to run it. If condition is false, you don't want to run it. So likewise, if you want to run some statements or some code based on the condition, then we call them control statements. Okay. So these control statements again three types, like based on uses, like if you are using straight away based on condition true false, it will be conditional statements. If you want to repeat the code, we will use looping statements. If you want to stop the code, you will use exit statements. So like that, the based on situation, however you required, we may use any of these particular three types. So but today we will see the first category called conditional statements. So once you understand the topic, and we will see some more examples, and then we will see the looping likewise. So as just now I mentioned, so linear or sequential statements will execute one by one, line by line. It doesn't have any condition. That is what straight away we can say that. And now if you go for conditional statements, as I mentioned, like control statements, I mean to say. So control statements means these are based on condition, I can say that. So like we have conditional, looping, and as well as termination statements, as I mentioned just before. And now under that, I'm going to be starting first one, conditional statement. So conditional statements means these statements will execute purely based on some condition. If condition true, it will execute one block of statements. If condition fail, it will execute another block of statements. So based on your requirement, however the condition will return, so based on the outcome of the condition, so this particular statements will be executing. So it always these statements like if else or else whatever we written here, these will execute based on boolean value, true or false, I can say that. So whatever the condition you specified, if the condition returns true, it will execute. If the condition returns false, it may execute another block of code. So likewise, the outcome of the condition what we derived or what we written, these statements will execute in the program. So out of that, the first syntax will be only if. So only if also we can write wherever you required. Multiple ifs also we can write in a single program. So as I mentioned already, if the condition is true, it will execute. If condition false, it doesn't do anything. So if you see the right side syntax, value equal to 3 I written. If value greater than 0, the number is positive number. If the value is less than 0, the number is negative number. Okay. But in this case, what the exact drawback is, even though we know the 3 is greater than 0, already that is printed, the a number is positive number, though the second condition also will execute, so a value less than 0. So unnecessarily it is the waiting, I can say, or wasting our time for unnecessary conditions. So to avoid such kind of unnecessary conditions only, we use if else. That means if the first condition not true, then only it will go for second. If the first condition true, it won't go for second because there is no scope at all. If in this case, if you consider if it is something is greater than 0, then what is the scope of checking? Is it less than 0 again? So example, a question if you are asking, did you passed? You said failed. Again, if I'm asking, did you failed? Then what is the scope of asking the question, right? So like that, so if you're not passed means it is straight away indirectly, it is failed only, right? So like that, if you want to write one condition with yes or no, then we have to go for if else instead of only if. So only if means it will take care only one case, but if else means it will take care two cases. Like example, if you see the diagram here, if the test expression or test condition is true, it will execute one body. If not, it will go for another body. But for both the cases, you have some sort of code and ultimately will get some output. Okay. So like if you see here, if value greater than 0, the number is positive. Else directly I'm printing, I'm not checking again the condition. Else directly it is a negative because we know that if the number is not positive means obviously it is a negative number. There is no doubt at all. So likewise, we always like whatever the content or whatever the condition is obeyed there, so based on the condition result or based on the condition what we are using, the outcome will be displayed. So up to here, any doubt for anyone?
No, sir.
Great. So next one. So if you have more conditions to check, example in this case only if you consider there is a possibility of equal 0 also, right? So for example, if I'm giving value equal to 0, so it is neither greater than 0 nor less than 0. So for example, if you I'm going for back to the previous screen, see in this case, okay. So in this case, if you go for program, if I'm giving value equal to 3, it will print the positive number. If I'm giving value equal minus 3, it will give the negative number. But if I'm giving value equal to 0, then nothing will print. It won't go for positive, it will go for negative. So that means the user might be confused what is happening. So we can't get it. So coming to the second case, in this case, if I'm giving value equal to 0, what happened? It is first case, it will check value greater than 0, right? It is failed definitely. 0 greater than 0, no. So directly it will print down, it's a negative number. But what we given? 0. What is the outcome expected? 0. But what is the actual output we are getting? Negative number. So it's giving wrong. So that means whenever you are placing a condition in any program, please check the how many cases are there or how many possibilities will be there. So that's why we even these are called branching statements. That means how many possibilities will be, that many cases you should cover as part of if else. So like example, if you see here, if value greater than 0, it is positive. Elif means one more condition, value less than 0, negative. If these both are not, then definitely there is no doubt, else it is a 0. So likewise, we have an option elif. So elif is a keyword in Python which will use it to include the multiple conditions in the if else, in between the if else. So if else are the first and last most statements, but in between if you want to add multiple conditions, then we can go for if elif. So likewise, if the condition true, it will go for directly and terminate the code. If false, then go for next expression. If false, it will go for next expression. Likewise, based on the falsing, it will go for other statements. If the first statement itself is true, it will stop the execution. So elif ladder is clear? Any doubts in the else
Yes,
if
sir.
ladder?
So, sir, just wanted to understand if I
Yeah.
got it right. So, based on the value what we are giving, we have to also think about the cases. How many cases did we give?
Yes.
Right? As you said, value
Exactly.
is 0. We cannot
Exactly.
just say positive or negative. So we should
Yeah.
also think about the number chances could be. It could be also a neutral number. So based on
Yes.
that, we have to write the cases too.
Yeah. In this example, that is true, but in generally, based on the input, as you mentioned, it might be
Yeah,
number, it
input.
may be text, but you just think out what are the different possibilities of coming as an input. Based on that only, we have to write the condition.
Right.
Yeah.
సో సార్ అంటే ఇంకొకటి ఇప్పుడు మనం పాసిబిలిటీస్ థింక్ చేయడం కంటే మనకు అది ఏ పాసిబిలిటీ తెలియదు అనుకోండి సో
Hmm.
డైరెక్ట్ గా అదే పాసిబిలిటీ ఇవ్వగలదా
No, that is like if such kind of facility is there, then there is no scope of automation testing or automation programming, right? So then there is no need of
Right.
human. So that possibility is only human will do. Machine cannot do.
రైట్ సార్. అంటే ఇప్పుడు ఇది సింగిల్ డిజిట్ నెంబర్ కాబట్టి వి నో ద పాసిబిలిటీస్ లైక్
Yeah.
3 ఈజ్ ఆడ్ నెంబర్ అండ్ ఆల్. బట్ యూజువల్లీ వేరే ఒకటి సమ్ వాల్యూ ఉంది విచ్ వి డోంట్ ఈవెన్ నో ద స్కోప్ ఆఫ్ ఇట్. అంటే దాని కేసెస్ కూడా మనకు ఐడియా లేదనుకోండి. అప్పుడు మనం
Definitely,
ఎలా
as I mentioned, right? Without scope or without proper specification, we cannot write the program. There is no doubt at all.
సో మనకి ముందే వి షుడ్ నో, మనకు
Yes,
తెలియాలి ఆ
we
వాల్యూ.
should have the clear knowledge what is requirement and what is expectation from the requirement. So without that, we can't write any program in real time.
రైట్. సో ఇన్ కేస్ ఇప్పుడు మనకి బికాస్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ టాకింగ్ అబౌట్ జీరో ఓన్లీ.
Yeah.
సో మనకి న్యూట్రల్ వాల్యూ గురించి అవసరం లేదు. బట్ ఐ జస్ట్ వాంట్ నో ఇఫ్ ఇట్స్ పాజిటివ్ ఆర్ నెగెటివ్. ఒకవేళ పాజిటివ్ కదా నెగెటివ్ కాదంటే మనకి న్యూట్రల్ వాల్యూని అర్థమైపోద్ది కదా,
Yeah.
అలా ఏమన్నా తీసుకోవచ్చా?
Yeah, in this case like that only, right? See, I didn't write the condition for equal 0, right? If I want to write like that also I can write. If value greater than 0, L if value less than 0, L if value equal 0, I can write. But I didn't write because with these two conditions, I get to know that there is a other possibility, but there is no need of checking. Directly blindly I can write it out.
ఓకే, ఎల్స్ అని రాసేయచ్చు.
Yes, simply we can write else, third condition.
ఓకే సార్. సో ఇఫ్ ఇఫ్ అంటే ఫస్ట్ మీరు ఇఫ్ ఇంకా ఇఫ్ ఎల్స్ చెప్పారు, తర్వాత ఇప్పుడు ఎల్స్ ఇఫ్ చెప్పారు.
Yes,
సో
L if.
దిస్ ఇస్ ఎల్ ఇఫ్ ఇస్ యూస్డ్ టు
Multiple
డైరెక్ట్లీ
conditions.
ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ దిస్ మల్టిపుల్ కండిషన్స్ ఒకటేసారి. ఓకే.
Okay, sir. Yeah.
సో మోస్ట్లీ విల్ యూజ్ ఓన్లీ ఎల్ ఇఫ్ సార్, ఆర్
I
డిపెండ్స్
didn't
ఆన్
get you. Can you
రిక్వైర్మెంట్
repeat?
సార్? అంటే మోస్ట్లీ వి విల్ బి అంటే చాలా మట్టుకి
Yeah,
విల్ ఇట్ బి ఎల్ ఇఫ్
mostly
ఓన్లీ
if
విల్ యూజ్
else,
ఆర్?
mostly if else, second L if, third only if.
ఓకే. సో బేస్డ్ ఆన్ రిక్వైర్మెంట్
Yes,
అనుకోండి.
based on requirement, exactly.
ఓకే. ఓకే సార్, గాట్.
And also last possibility is there, that is we call nested if. So if you write the condition within the condition, so if you write one condition within another condition, then we called it as a nested if. Nesting means condition checking within the, means if first condition satisfied, then it will go for second condition, then it will go for execution, like that. So if you see like example, there is a what we call, there is a big hall, within that individual rooms are there, assume that. So if outer door will open, then we can check for inner rooms, I can say that. So if outer room itself is not open, we can't check it inside what is there. So similarly, if you want to write some condition outside the main, inside the main condition, so in that case, like example I will tell you, one example, see, if user passed or failed, if user passed, then only I want to find the grade. In that case, first we need to check whether user passed or failed. If failed, there is no need of grade, directly we can give the F as a grade. If is passed, then you can think about what grade, 80% or 90%, we have to take the average and calculate. So in such case, in such kind of cases, we have to use the if under the if. But see, one thing is very clear, the if else is common everywhere, like based on the requirement or based on the scenario, how you designed or how you written the code, it all depends on the developer. That's all. Is it clear, everybody?
Yes sir. Sir, example of nested if ఎలా రాస్తారు
Yes,
program?
yeah, I already showcased in the screen. So if the same logic I written in the next if, like for example, say if value not equal to 0, I written the first condition, if value not equal to 0. So that means if value equal to 0, there is no scope of checking whether greater than or less than, because there is no scope at all. So if value not equal to 0, I'm checking again, see if value greater than 0, it's a positive, else it is negative. For example, if I given the value 0 itself, so then in that case, it won't even get into the loop, that particular first block. It will directly go to the else, the second else block, directly will give you, this is always printed, whatever the line it is there, it will print. So means what I'm trying to explain. So if outer if is failed, it won't even touch the inside what we written in the code also. Okay.
Okay.
Is that clear?
Yes sir.
Yeah. Yeah, these are the different types of if conditions variations, but all we can say if only, but different variations. Okay, so we'll see one example over that, maybe you can easily understand. Okay, new Python 5. So let's take, I'm taking even or odd. Okay, very simple example. Now tell me, you people tell me, how many possibilities are there in the number to check it even or odd? I mean to say,
two
if you take any number which belongs to either even or odd, or is there any chance of getting? That is my point.
Two possibilities, sir.
Yeah, what are that?
Positive and negative,
No,
or
no, no,
it
no.
could be
Even odd, I'm
neutral.
asking. Even odd. See, -2, is it even or odd?
Even only.
Okay. +2, is it even or odd?
Even only.
Then there is no scope of positive negative, right? So it's
Right.
only category even or odd, that's all. So we don't have any other categories, I can say that, in the time of even odd. But if you go for some other numbers, maybe we have 3 types of categories. So that's what my point. Here we have only 2. So in this case, you can go for if else, that's all. Is it clear?
ఓకే సార్ ఇప్పుడు చెప్పిన ఎగ్జాంపుల్ లోని నెగిటివ్ అండ్ పాజిటివ్ అన్నారు కదా సో ఐ వాంటెడ్ టు నో ఈవెన్ ఆడ్ అండ్ ఆల్సో పాజిటివ్ అండ్ నెగిటివ్
Then we should have multiple
పాజిటివ్
conditions.
ఆర్ పాజిటివ్ ఈవెన్
Yeah, then we
Okay.
have to add multiple conditions in that case.
ఓకే సో ఇలా
I'll
చేయొచ్చు
show
సార్
you.
పాజిటివ్ ఈవెన్ పాజిటివ్ ఆడ్ అట్లా ఏమైనా
Yeah, I will show you. So see, first I will try to write. See, first, as I mentioned, it is either even or odd, right? So that I'm writing if n percentile. So here I covered one more operator called percentile. So this operator will give you the remainder. So n percentile 2 will give you the remainder when the n is divisible by 2. So now if it is equal to 0, that means the number is really divided by the 2. So that means it is print even. Okay. Now else. Okay. Now print odd. Now as you mentioned, see, this is a straightforward logic for even or odd, that's all. So if the given number is even or odd, this logic is will tell you whatever number you will give. For example, here 5 is odd and 4 is even, like that. Okay, but the same thing as you mentioned, if you want to include the positive or negative in this case, so now under the particular if condition, again you need to write like if n greater than 0, then we have to give it is positive even, else, sorry, not else, if n less than 0, okay, print it is negative even, else print it's 0 even. Okay, coming to the odd number. Okay, if n greater than 0, so if you see the syntax clearly, see, if you observe the previous program, we are writing everything in the same line. That's why we call it as a linear. But when coming to the conditionals, we are maintaining blocking. See that this is one block, we can say that, and this is one block. Likewise, we have to keep on maintaining the tab spaces because Python does not support curly brackets. So we should give always for block maintenance this spaces. Okay. Now n greater than 0.
అంటే సార్
What is
నథింగ్ బట్
that?
ది ఇండెంటేషన్ అంటారు కదా
Yes, indentation, correct. We have to follow the tab indentation always. Now else
ఓకే
print it is negative odd. See, here also see, as you mentioned the scope, right? See, for example, if you go for even number, there is a scope of getting 3 types. One is positive, negative, 0 also. But when you consider odd number, there is no scope of 0 because 0 is not an odd number. So we won't get 0 in this case. So that's why I written only 2 cases. So likewise, you have to study before writing the code, actual code. Is it understandable now?
ఎస్ సార్ అండర్స్టాండింగ్ నౌ యా
Yeah, for example, here I'm giving something called 5. See here, it is giving now positive odd. So now if I'm giving the same value -5, now you're getting, see that, negative odd. Okay. So similarly, if I'm giving 0, so now you're getting it's 0 even. And let's take we giving something called 35. So now you're getting positive odd, like that. So for every value, it will every case it covered
సార్
because we written all the cases.
ఓకే సార్ ఒకటి
Yeah.
పైన ఇఫ్ పర్సెంటైల్ 2 అని ఇచ్చారు కదా
Yes.
percentile 2 equal to 0 అని పెట్టారు సో why we keep 2 times equal to
Yeah, see, because we have 2 types of operators in Python. So one is equal, another one equal. Okay. So equal is used to assign the value to the variable. That means whatever we are giving in the right side, that will store in the left side variable. But when go for say double equal, it is we call relational operator. So this operator will help you to compare that two values are equal or not. It is used to compare that whether the left and right values are equal or not. Means
Okay.
in
So
the
ఇప్పుడు
third line what
మనం
is
ఇప్పుడు
showing
value
whether the
okay
n percentile to value is really equal to the 0, it is checking.
రైట్ సో ఇప్పుడు మనం అక్కడ ఎన్ పొజిషన్ లో వాల్యూ ఇస్తాం కదా సో ఆ
Yes.
ఆన్సర్ ఇస్ ఈక్వల్ టు దిస్ జీరో ఆర్ వాట్
Yes.
అని
We are
ఇట్
checking.
మీన్స్
Exactly. So always relation operator like less than, greater than, double equal, these are all operators will check the condition whether that are true or false.
ఓకే
Okay.
ఓకే సార్
Any doubt as of now, all of you?
సార్ ఇప్పుడు ఇఫ్ 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 కండిషన్ ఉంది కదా సార్ ఇఫ్ ఎల్స్ కింద సో ఇఫ్ యు గివ్ ద ఓకే ఓకే అండర్స్టూడ్ సార్ అండర్స్టూడ్ నాకు ఎందుకంటే కింద వాల్యూ అవుట్పుట్ వచ్చిన వాల్యూ ఇచ్చిన తర్వాత దెన్ ఇట్ ఇస్ ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ ద హోల్ ప్రోగ్రామ్ అండ్ గివ్ యూ ది ఆన్సర్
Yes,
ఓకే
exactly. And in this case, if you observe, if this if is executed, assume that, okay, for example, we given this one only 35, right? So we are getting the positive odd, that means where it is there, positive, yeah, this one, right? So in this case what happened, first we will check the 35 2 is not equal 0, it won't touch this code, directly it will go for else. So now it is checking whether greater than 0 or not, it will execute like that. So if the condition fail, it won't get into the respective block, it will skip the block. Okay.
ఓకే సార్ అండర్స్టూడ్ సార్
Yeah. So let's take, I'm checking major or minor, okay. So for example, I'm taking age as an float value, okay, float. So float input of enter age. So we know that when the age is more than what do you call it, 18, more than or equal to, I can say that. So age greater than or equal to 18, then we can print it major, else. So simply we can say minor. There is no need of condition again, because other than 18 means it is less than 18. Whatever the value you given, so we can consider it as a minor only. Okay. So now we can check it. So assume that if I'm giving 85, so then major. Okay. So let's take, I'm giving some 15 showing minor, but assume that if I'm giving -5, okay, so now what happened, see that minor is showing, but it's wrong, right? So that means we have to validate one more case, that is if is less than or equal to 0. Sorry, it's not less than, it's a greater than. Sorry, yeah, greater than, because that age always should be positive, it cannot be negative. Okay, so if someone gives the negative values, so in that case simply you have to throw as a invalid age. So no need of do validation for that, you just throw it out as a simply invalid age like that. So else simply you can print it, yeah, print invalid. So likewise
ఇప్పుడు
you
అక్కడ
can write the code.
ఏజ్ గ్రేటర్ దెన్ 0 ఈక్వల్ టు 0 గ్రేటర్ దెన్ ఆర్ ఈక్వల్ టు 0 అని చెప్పారు కదా
Yeah, sorry, it's
సో
not
దాని
greater than equal to, it's greater than, because if equal to also it's not a valid.
అండ్ ఆల్సో సార్ ఇప్పుడు ఇండెంటేషన్ ఇఫ్ సేమే కదా సార్ వై అంటే మనం సబ్ స్టేట్మెంట్ ఇస్తున్నామని చెప్పి ఇండెంటేషన్ ఇస్తున్నామా
Yes,
ఇఫ్ కి
exactly.
మళ్ళీ
So this block within the that main if, right? So that's why we given the sub level. So that this is we call nested if.
ఓకే ఓకే నెక్స్ట్ ఇఫ్ ఇప్పుడు ఓకే
Yeah.
గాట్ ఇట్
So now if I'm giving 0, so now you are getting invalid instead of minor. Okay.
యా
Like that. So these are the few things we have to understand, and so please I will share this video today, and please try to practice these things, and tomorrow I will continue the some more examples with respect to this if else, and also we'll start looping statements like for loop and while loop. Okay, so take care, bye.
ఓకే సార్ థ్యాంక్ యూ